Damos la bienvenida aquí en el escenario para esta primera keynote de la mañana a Jean-Marc Pailhol, Chief Officer Global Strategic Partnership en Allianz. Fuerte aplauso.
Thank you, Elena. Hi, everybody. So I'm very happy and honored to be there. I'm sorry I will not do my keynote in Spanish because, as the English say in another way, I speak Spanish like an English cow. So I will try to do it in English because after having spent many years in Allianz, I have learned how to speak English, which is great. Now I'm fluent in English and I can do a keynote in English. So I will do it in English. Sorry for that. And by the way, all the work we have done, and I will present you the results, were done some years ago and were transformed in business. So I will start with a short story. 9 years ago, I was heading marketing and distribution for the Allianz Group worldwide. So you know Allianz, 180 billion of business, 85 countries, so big monster. And I was in charge of reshaping the brand positioning and the brand strategy. And so the first thing I wanted to do is to understand how the world was moving, what will be the future of this world, because when you start to invest millions on a new brand strategy, on a new brand positioning, on new brand partnerships, you need to do it for the next 10 to 15 to 20 years. And this is what we have done. And what you will see there are the results of what you have done 8 or 10 years ago. So you can say, 10 years ago, it's not anymore relevant. It is relevant, and it is so relevant that 5 years after having done that, I've built an internal startup. So I'm leading currently an insurtech within Allianz Partners, which is named Global Strategic Partnerships. And in fact, all what I will present to you today, I've taken it, I've of course hired people to work with me, and at the end of the day, we have built a new approach based on B2B2C to accompany these changes. And we are now doing around 500 million of new business per year with 50 people. And we manage currently 4 billion premium after 5 years. And we started 5 years ago in my kitchen with 3 people, the 3 first people I hired. So what I will show you today was the result of the survey of the big work we have done 8 to 9 years ago to understand the evolution of the world. And at the same time, is confirmed by what we have built for the past 5 years, and which became one of the main growth engine of the Allianz Group. We are representing today with 50 people, and of course the guys working with us, because we have no underwriting team, so we are using the Allianz underwriting team. We are representing today around 12 to 15% of the full growth of the Group Allianz. So it works. Let me start. Why did I call that from traditional to digital natives? And I think it's quite important to have that in mind. What does mean the digital revolution? Everybody is talking now about digital revolution. When we mentioned this word 8 years ago, nobody was talking about that. A digital revolution is an industrial revolution. We live the fourth industrial revolution in the story of humanity. What does it mean? It means that everything has changed. Nothing will be comparable to the past. And if we refuse to change drastically the full model, we will have and will face a lot of difficulties in the next years. It works for business, and I will just talk about business, but it works also in our current life with our children, and it works also with politics. And this explains why we have all those changes and moves around the world and difficulties around the world. What does it mean becoming digital? 5 words: simple, fast, transparent, lean, user-friendly. As soon as you are not simple, transparent, fast, lean, or user-friendly, you are not digital, meaning you cannot live in this world, or you have a lot of difficulties to live in this world. And if you take back and try to see your own experience based on that, I'll let you do it, you will see that even when we go to a restaurant, in the past we are used to wait for the menu, to wait for the food to come, to wait for the addition, for the bill. Now, when you sit, you want to have everything on the table. You have even a code. You can flash to have immediately access to the menu. And when you have finished to eat, you want to have the bill immediately, you want to pay, and you decide to leave or not, but you want to have everything fast, even when you eat. It's a big change. All this transformation had impact on the people, on ourselves, on our customers. And this is a summary of that. I will not enter into the detail, but keep in mind that there are two layers, two big layers. One is currently around 25, one is currently around 35. You have the people above 35, I'm part of that. You have the people between 35 and 25 and the people below. The people below are digital natives. They were born with the digital tools. They were trained with digital tools. They were structured by digital tools. One example, we are used to say that they are not vertical, they are transversal. They scan. They are not, they consider themselves not as customers, but as clients. They want to have the power. It's a completely different way to understand the world. They have a much more maturity than what we have. So, if you have children, like it is my case, I have two children in the digital, what we call digital natural, between 25 and 35, and two children below 25. When I see my children, both of them are completely different. The way they react, the way they understand the world, the way they build their career, the way they study is completely different. And if we don't have this understanding, if we don't adapt our behaviors to those different behaviors, it will be extremely complex to be successful commercially. And above 35, we have two parts. We have the digital converted, what we are in this room. I hope there are people below 35, and I've seen people below 25, so we are representative of all the segments. We are converted, but there are still a lot of people who are traditional, living like our father, our grandfather were living. The problem with that is that our companies usually make the majority of their profit with traditional people. Why? Because it's difficult to move to the other segments. To move to the other segments, you have to transform yourself. This is what we call digitization. All what we have done since years, investing in making digital what was physical before. And sometimes we have reinvention. Reinvention is starting from scratch and reinventing what we have to do, which is by far more complex, by far more challenging, which needs to accept to burn cash during a certain period of time to build the value proposition we'll have in the future. And what is the impact of this huge change on the world? The first one is what we call from local to global. What does mean global? It means global alignment, global agreement, global discussions, and local implementation. The best of the two worlds. I took the example of McDonald's. McDonald's, the principle is always the same. When you go to a McDonald's, you know what you will find, except that what we'll find will be different if you are in Paris, if you are in Sydney, if you are in Bangkok, if you are in US, or if you are in Japan, or in India. This is exactly what means global. Global value proposition, global communication, global partnership, global structure, the principle of the franchise, and so on and so forth, and local implementation. It works for McDonald's as it works for Allianz. I will take an example. We have signed a deal with Uber, big company, as you know. We insure their driver around the world. We don't insure the car, we insure the drivers. When they have a problem, when they are stopped, when the car is blocked, when they are sick, we guarantee their revenues. We insure them and we cover them in more than 25 or 27 countries. The solution is global and it is adapted depending on the region. But for the work we have done with them, for the discussion we have done with them, the total value proposition was based on protection, on vehicle interruption cover, and on business interruption. It's clear. We have built the solution, negotiated the solution, built it with the company, and after that implemented locally, exactly in the same way. And by the way, it's Uber who is paying the bill. Meaning that their drivers are covered by Uber with one contract, one invoice at a global level. It's exactly the same principle. And the world is moving like that. We see more and more companies deciding to negotiate global agreement. It's the same case, for example, in mobility with Chinese OEMs, which starts to arrive in Europe, which will increase our market share in Europe, and who wants absolutely to have a global agreement and to negotiate after that country per country based on this global agreement. And this is something which seems quite easy to understand, but which was not absolutely not the case in the past, and which gives a huge opportunity for us to build new partnership and to set up new business. Second one, from ownership to usage. Again, this is something you are used to hear. 9 years ago, 8 years ago, it was brand new. We didn't have the e-scooters on sharing in the street. We didn't have the bikes in sharing in the street. We didn't have the scooter, the mopeds in sharing in the street. Now it's everywhere. We were the first one to move based on that. And the innovation is very simple. We just invented at this time, 6 years ago, a payment per minute, full point. How is it possible to pay an insurance per minute? You take an assumption, and the assumption is very simple. You take the price of a normal e-scooter insurance. You discuss with your partner, this time it was Lime, the first operator, professional operator, industrial operator in the world, with Bird. We discuss with those guys and we say, guys, how many minutes do you think the people will use your e-scooter? They say that, I don't know, 1,000 minutes per year, 2,000 minutes per year. We took the price, we divided the price, and we started like that. Meaning that for an insurance company, starting without any data, without any visibility on what will be the usage of the tool, to build a price based on an assumption so simple, needs to be a bit smart to convince. And the way to convince was to say, okay, guys, we sign with you, you need us, we need you. At the end of the day, we will share 100% of the data, of the claims data with you, and we'll build together a solution to improve the profitability. And to make sure that you will be embedded in this process, we will share the profitability or the losses with you. So we invented a new approach with the payment per minute. We moved to a solution where, for the first time, we were sharing 100% in a full transparent way the claims data with our client. The client was co-creating with us the solution to decrease the claims, and we were sharing the losses and the profit. We started the first year with 2 million business, 2 million with one client. We are now the leader in Europe with 83% of market share. 83% of market share. We insure 1.5 billions of minutes per year. And we started with a combined ratio at 115, and we are now at a combined ratio at 88. Just because we have co-created the solution to manage the claims, and because we are innovative. And why did we do that? Because we are convinced that this usage-based approach will be the future of mobility. We have done that for micro-mobility. We are doing that for new mobility. We are also the leader in sharing cars, which is not so simple. We are even further than that. You know Link & Co. You know that Link & Co is what we call subscription. You pay a fee. It's a Netflix model. You pay a fee. With a fee, inside the fee, you have the price of the car, the financement of the car. You have the price of the insurance, you have the price of the maintenance, you have the price of the warranty, you have the price of the roadside assistance. All included in one. The client pays 600 euro per month, and everything is done. Exactly like Netflix. You can take it for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. No problem, you decide. It's really from ownership to usage. And we are ensuring that. By the way, by doing so, you have to accept to have an insurance product which is covering at the same time the normal usage and the sharing usage. Because if you buy a Lynk & Co car, if you subscribe to a Lynk & Co car, you can use it and you can share it as well. So you need to build an insurance which allows you to do both. This is what I call innovation. Other point, from thermic to electric. You hear a lot of things around electric vehicles starting to slow down and so on and so forth. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer for plenty of reasons. It's a no-brainer because of the evolution of the mentality of the people. It's a no-brainer because of the change in the production system the OEMs have done. It's a no-brainer because of the arrival of Chinese OEMs. The future will be Chinese, at least for a big part of the market. We all know that. And because of that, we have taken the decision to move to them, to approach them, and to support them, what we do currently. Always based on the same principle, global agreement, local implementation. And we try to move within these mega trends. So the future will be electric, no discussion, and the future will be connected. So all what you hear about what is a car was previously an engine with power, and our car is an iPad on wheels, is true. The future is iPad on wheels, fully connected and fully electric or partially electric. An iPad on wheels means data. The data means capacity to have a better approach of the solution you can provide to your clients. And all what is concerning usage-based insurance is more and more relevant in the world in which we live. So the future of insurance will move from, I see from the past what happened for the previous 10 years, and I'm an actuary and I'm working on that, to I try to imagine what will be the events in the next year based on the data I've received in the previous months. So it means that it's also a change in the mindset of our underwriter. It's also the necessity to have other approach, and a lot of insurtech. I know that there are a lot of insurtech in the room. A lot of insurtech has already understood that because they don't have the legacy of the past. They are not obliged to work with the same principle, and their flexibility to move in this new world is much higher than large company like us. But this is what we have to do. So 2 keywords, electrification, and connectivity, datamatics. Another one which is quite interesting, the creation or the emergence of all those mobility platforms. What does mean mobility platform? You take Tesla understands themselves not as a car manufacturer, but as a mobility platform, as a mobility solution. Uber is moving. They started by doing a taxi-like solution in a transformative way, meaning that they digitized what was already there, to a mobility platform where you can rent a taxi, or you can have a taxi, you can access to an e-scooter, you can access to an e-moped, you can order food, you can order what you want. It became a mobility platform. When you discuss with Air France, KLM, or with Iberia, you see that they want to become themselves a mobility platform. Everybody is coming from different angles to this principle of mobility platform. I don't want to be just a provider of one mobility solution. I want to provide a full bench of solution to my clients. Of course, if you want to accompany those guys, you are obliged to enlarge the scope of what you propose as an insurer, and this is what we try to do. Not so easy, because you have to add some additional solution, but at the end of the day, extremely successful. So this notion of mobility platform, this vision of companies moving in the same direction with a huge competition in between themselves, it's something we need to have in mind. It opens new doors, it opens new ideas, it opens new opportunities, and at the same time, it presents a lot of risks. From care to prevention, the best example is COVID. I will not give my opinion on what happened, neither positive or negative, but it's the first time in history that the world has decided globally that it was better to take a solution which was not completely tested to avoid to be sick. It's the first time in the history of the world. It never happened. It's at the opposite of the principle of health structure in each and every country. But the world didn't want to be sick. And it's exactly what is happening. If I do a comparison, we are moving more and more to a Chinese way of understanding medicine. In China, you pay the doctor until you are sick. When you are sick, you stop paying the doctor and he's obliged to cure you for free. In Europe, we pay the doctor, normally we paid the doctor when we were sick. Now we start more and more to move from health to welfare. So this evolution, this huge transformation to move to wellness create a need for the insurance actors to move the solution from reimbursing the health cost when you are cured to reimbursing what is before, or even to provide what is before. You can see on the market more and more services, solutions, talking about symptom checker, talking about doctor chat or teleadvice, talking about teleconsultation. The success in France of Doctolib is one of them. You can organize yourself as soon as you feel sick to check if the symptoms seems to be important, to have a call with the doctor or to ask for a consultation before you become sick. You can also prepare all of that, try to have additional solution. And this is a big opportunity for us to change the model and to try to move in this direction instead of reimbursing just the cost of health, reimbursing the cost of prevention. From physical to digital, I will not enter into the detail. I will just say that this is a consequence of a change in the behaviors of the clients. Our clients are not, because of the digitalization of the world, are not anymore customers, they are clients. The difference is huge. When you are customers, you receive advertising and you are pushed to buy. When you are a client, you check on the market, you choose and you buy what you want. Huge difference. The consequence is the emergence and the growth of the aggregators in the insurance business, what we see all around the world. The consequence of that is the necessity for us to be more transparent in what we propose to our clients. One of the consequences, for example, will be in Allianz, the creation of a new co, which will be created in June, to approach the need of the clients, really to approach the need of the clients, meaning to work on behalf of the clients to manage their full insurance needs, their full risk coverage needs, which is absolutely not done now. So keep in mind, from customer to client, phygital, everybody knows what it means. We have to merge the different channels. From artificial intelligence to augmented intelligence. This one is extremely important. What does it mean? Everybody is talking about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence means mainly I replace people by computer capacity. Because at the end of the day, artificial intelligence is a program, nothing else than that. So I replace people by IT capacities, meaning I decrease the cost. I improve, or I try to improve the service I provide to my client, but mainly my aim is to decrease the cost. I was in the CES in Las Vegas in January. I was in the past CES since a while. What I've seen is a huge shift in the understanding of AI. Last year, I saw plenty of companies explaining how you can optimize a call center by putting artificial intelligence instead of people answering to the phone. This year, it was absolutely not the case. This year, it was, how is it possible to improve the value we give to the client by using augmented intelligence? Meaning that augmented intelligence, it's people with AI. It's not AI to replace people, it's people with AI. And I'm quite convinced that it is the future of AI. We'll have impact on the cost, but we'll have mainly impact on the quality of service provided to the client. If we don't use AI in this way, I think that we miss a big opportunity. So this is what we are doing as well. So customer service improvement. This one is quite interesting, from function to mission. Young generation, specifically, they prefer to have a mission than a function, meaning that they don't like the hierarchical approach. I find well in my company, I stay. I don't find well in my company, I leave. It's not a problem for me. It's easy, I'm flexible, and I don't care really about money. What I care is value for money. I stop there. It's not the... So on the insurance business, the impact is huge because we are a big employer. So we have to understand that, and we have to change the way we manage the people. But I will not stay a long time on this one. So what are the conditions of success? How is it possible to succeed? I try to summarize it. This is what we try to do. First of all, digital by essence. Digital doesn't mean being on internet. Huh? Digital by essence, simple, fast, transparent, lean, user-friendly. You put the 5 words, this is what we do, on a wall, and each time you do something, each time you work on a process, each time you approach a new solution, each time you build a new product, is it simple, fast, transparent, lean, and user-friendly? If it is like that, it's digital compliant. It means that it will find its market. Second point, global by default. Global by default, I usually say, think big, start small. I know that it sounds American, it is American, but I think this is the main difference between US and us. Creativity is more here, but the capacity to think big is there. By default, they think big. When you think big, and when it's successful, scale up is easy. When you start small and think small, the scale up is always a nightmare. So think global by default. When we built our automotive strategy, we built it at a worldwide level, not at a European level, and not at a German, a French, or Spanish level. Individualized by design. It has to be standardized and at the same time individualized. Why? Because again, people want the solution which fits with their need. They want it standardized, simple, transparent, lean, user-friendly, because if it's not standardized, it's not possible to do that. But at the same time, they want it fully adapted to their need. Not easy to do. Sustainable by nature. Why sustainable by nature? Because, again, because you are transparent, the people will understand that you greenwashing. If you do greenwashing, you kill your brand, you kill your value proposition. It has to be part of the DNA. And it's better not to do everything or not to say too much, but what is said is done. What do we have to do? First one, improve technology. So it will seem extremely simple, huh? But this is as simple as that. At least it's my opinion. Improve technology. Improve technology means at the same time, improve, transform, reinvent. So improve the current system, your current legacy system. If you're a startup, you forget about that. Transform is make the system and the processes and the IT tools more digital. And reinvent is what you do with AI. And again, depending on the vision you have of AI, use it in a different way. Understand regulation. Surprisingly, in the insurance industry, we are one of the most regulated business segments in the world. Understand regulation will allow us to be more efficient. If you want to be global, if you want to sign global partnerships, and if you want to implement it at a local level, you need absolutely to be at the top on the understanding of the local regulation. This is our main argument with our global partners. We help them to understand that working in Italy, working in Spain, working in France, working in Thailand, working in US, or working in New Zealand is something which is completely different because of regulatory problem. Not because of the client needs, because they are global, because of the regulatory problem. And the understanding we have of those regulatory problems help us to explain to them that we are a great partner to work with. Develop new offers, very easy, but not just to develop new offers to stick to what I've presented with this principle, accept to share the expertise. I was saying before what we have done with Lime, for example, what we do with Uber, what we try to do with all our partnerships. We share our data on claims. Very simple, but at the same time not so frequent. Manage the distribution legacy, which is for us, big company, a big problem and a big weight and burden on our shoulder. And last but not least, increase the brand trust. The strongest is the brand, the stronger is your brand, the best it is and the easier it is to develop your business. So this is what I wanted to share with you. I hope it was not, I hope it was interesting. Normally I use 1 hour to enter into the detail, but I try to do it in half an hour, and I think that I'm just in time. Thank you very much for your time, and pleasure to be there.